This episode of Lawyers Tell All is brought to you by the Intake Academy. Do you know how to cement relationships with more of your ideal clients, get them to commit to you, and send you more referrals than you ever thought possible? Visit www.intakeacademy.com, where you will get the strategies you need to make the most of your marketing and advertising dollars. Plus, develop a team of intake specialists and attorneys who convert more qualified case opportunities and build meaningful relationships with prospective clients. Welcome to the Lawyers Tell All podcast, where Chris Mullins, the preeminent sales and communications consultant in the legal industry, shows you how it looks through lawyers' eyes. Here, innovators in the trenches provide powerful insights that help you connect with new clients, handle the sometimes harsh realities of the legal profession, and embrace the mindsets needed to succeed. Be sure to visit our website at www.lawyerstellall.com. And while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, lean in, tune in, and let's take a deep dive.
Hello, everyone. It's Chris Mullins with Lawyers Tell All, and today I have with me attorney Carey Meldon of Meldon Law. Hi, Carey. How are you?
Chris, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm super. How are you?
Doing wonderful. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast.
Absolutely. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I have a practice with my father down here in Gainesville, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Gainesville is the city which is famously known for being the same city where the University of Florida is located. And it's kind of north central Florida. But as you may know, the farther north you go into Florida, the more southern it becomes. So it's kind of a sleepy old southern town.
Okay.
And have office locations also in Lake City, in Ocala, and Fort Lauderdale down in South Florida. So we're really, we mostly do personal injury. We do some as well, but we're kind of a family firm that has decided to take the journey into becoming a larger company. And it's been very exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like it has been. So don't back down. Talk a little bit about Don't Back Down, how that started, where it came from, besides the song.
All right.
Besides the song, you were doing karaoke or something like that.
The song is where it came from, Chris. So
Okay.
My father moved to Gainesville, Florida from Ohio in 1971. And he hung his own shingles and he started practicing law, but he was a long-haired hippie who loved rock and roll and was a young musician that was living in Gainesville at the time by the name of Tom Petty. And he had a band, Mud Crutch. And my father would later on own the largest Southern music hall between Atlanta and Miami, I guess Orlando, but it was a huge Southern music hall, and he was booking acts, and he ended up meeting Tom Petty. They became friends, and my dad was Tom Petty's first lawyer / booking agent.
Wow.
So Tom Petty hang out in his office, and my father really enjoyed hanging out with Tom, got to know him. Tom, of course, ended up moving to L.A. Jeffrey stayed in Gainesville, Florida. But about 3 years ago, we formed a partnership as the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators.
Mm-hmm.
And after the third quarter of every football game, the Gators, in front of 80 people, the song Won't Back Down Petty, which everyone is probably familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrics are, I'll stand my ground, turned around, I won't back down. It's pretty inspirational lyric. And my father was thinking, well, that's really, it ties into our Gator partnership. And I like the lyrics, and it kind of ties into what we do, which is fighting for our clients. So he called the Tom Petty estate, and they gave us permission to use the slogan, Won't Back Down.
Mm-hmm.
So Law's slogan is Won't Back Down. That's where it came from, is Tom Petty. And that's kind of what we tell all of our teammates, is that we're there to fight for our clients, and therefore we won't back down.
Yeah, that's a pretty big statement. So you have to live up to that, everywhere, your entire firm, team member to team member. Do you find that to be a challenge at all?
Well, with help of people like yourself, Chris, we try to surround and encourage our team members to always become leaders. And that's something that we've done for probably 40 years, 50 years. My father's always been into trying to invest in the team.
Mm-hmm.
And part of investing in the team means giving them opportunities to learn from professionals and inspirational leaders such as yourself, who are able to sometimes point out things that will allow you to fight for your clients more effectively and fight for each other, get each other's back, support. I think one of the things that we learned from, our monthly sessions with you, Chris, and it gets brought up a lot. We had a Zoom on Monday morning with the entire office, and I think 15 minutes of it was consumed by talking about what you do and the speakers that you bring to our group. And ultimately speaking, we're really lucky that we have team members that feel as passionate as we do about representing our clients.
Yeah, that's really key. So talk a little bit about your journey to become a lawyer.
It's crazy. So
okay.
I probably knew I was going to be a lawyer when I was in middle school. I mean, frankly, I'm not one of these. I guess it's not that crazy. I'm not one of these. A lot of lawyers you hear, well, I was poor and I saw a lawyer one time help out a family member and I wanted to be that person. Or, I had a brother that fell off a roof and didn't get compensated and his life was ruined. So I became a lawyer. I love those stories because they inspire me all the time. My story wasn't like that at all, really. We had a family of lawyers. My grandfather, my uncle, my father, my aunt, my mother went to law school. It was essentially just a family right. We would always fight at Thanksgiving, as you could probably imagine.
Yeah, but right.
Very early that was kind of what the family business was going to be. But we really always fought for the underdogs. My grandfather was, I think, the first Caucasian member of the NAACP. He would represent African Americans back in Daytona in the 1950s, even at the threat of being thrown in jail by calling him Mr. instead of a first name. My father, of course, carried on that legacy. He fought for the underprivileged, and so did my uncle. Actually, he was pretty incredible too. So I had all of these really inspirational role models that were in my family that led me to believe that you can make a difference. Plus, when I was walking around with my father, there was always people that would come up to him and thank him. And I thought, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Be thanked in public for what you do. So for me, it was a lifelong passion. I knew I was going to do it. I wanted to play professional tennis, but I wasn't talented enough. So I went to law school. I came out, joined the state attorney's office, tried jury trials. I went to where nobody knew who I was for about 4 years so I could make all my mistakes. And
good strategy.
Yeah, great strategy, right?
Yeah.
Came back, still made more mistakes, but probably less than I would have otherwise. Came back home in 2009 and started practicing with my father. Then I moved down to Fort Lauderdale in 2017, opened a firm down there that was a branch of our original firm in Gainesville. And then last year I came back full-time to help the expansion into North Florida, which was Lake City, and also to help secure our new office in Ocala. So the journey's been all over the place. I'm very fortunate to do what I do. Things have changed. When I first started, every single one of my clients I'd meet in person before we signed them up. The intake process was basically a lawyer speaking with the client. And had a 4-hour service. And because I practice a lot of criminal defense, Chris, I was on call 24/7. So whether it was 12, 2 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, I might have to be in first appearance 3 hours later. I would have my phone by my bed and the volume up on high the entire time. And I would handle the intakes because we were small enough that we can do that. And
right.
now we're changing into a whole different dynamic.
Right. So criminal, what is it you like about criminal law? What is it that attracts you?
So number one, I love the action that's involved because you're in court almost all the time in criminal. I would say I was averaging courtroom appearances 4 to 5 times a week. So dress up in a suit, in a tie, I'd be ready to go. I'd be able to perform in front of the judge, the jury, the client. It was it really forces you to be on point. And to me, that was fulfilling. Number two is the clients are just so appreciative to have someone on their side because everyone, to them, many of the times it feels like everyone's against them, whether it's the law enforcement officer, their family, the prosecutor, the judge. They walk into that courtroom and they only have one person that is in their corner, and that's their lawyer. So I like standing proud. I like being prepared. I liked being, able to give someone some security that needed it.
Yeah.
And many of my clients, I did a lot of DUI defense. Many of my clients had never been arrested before, never going to be arrested again, made a terrible mistake, but they usually learn from it. And for them, it was mitigating the damage to their life. And obviously, DUI is dangerous. I always tell people don't drink and drive at all. It's not something that I ever condone. However, people need to be helped after the fact. And if anything, I think we do a better job of educating them as to why they should never do it again.
Right. Never do it again. That's really great. Did you ever, kind of think about morals or anything like that?
So that's funny. I was a prosecutor for the first 4 years, and I started off in misdemeanor court, which most young lawyers do, handling, pot cases or disorderly conduct cases or open container or catching fish that weren't big enough for the limit up Daytona. So, misdemeanor crimes were basically crimes of stupidity, right? That where you're stealing clothes, anything, $50, little things, but it was still a crime. And I started off doing those, and I didn't ever really feel passionate about prosecuting those people. I was really became passionate about being a prosecutor when they elevated me to this sex crimes unit where I was prosecuting child molesters and rape and, people that were involved with really serious crimes. And I felt very passionate about that because I felt that I can make a difference by getting someone that's a predator off of the streets and behind bars. So that was probably the first passion that I felt with regards to litigating. And then when I came on the defense side, we made it abundantly clear we were only going to take a certain type of cases. Generally, it was misdemeanor type cases, where the people were not evil people, but they had made stupid decisions. Part of our process was educating them as to why it was a stupid decision and why if they repeat that decision, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And I think information is power, and really incumbent upon the lawyer to educate their client as to consequences of actions. Otherwise, why wouldn't they do it again?
So because you're schooling them, you're their teacher at the same time. You're the mentor at the same time.
Well, we used to be called counselors, right? Attorneys were counselors at law. Now we're attorneys at law. I don't think I'm a counselor by any means, but my thought process is I used to speak to my clients 6 or 7 times. The judge will speak to them 1 time for 3 minutes. Probation officer will talk to them only to make sure they're checking off boxes, but no one's going to have the quality time with them as much as their lawyer will.
What about your staff? Do you ever have a challenge with them dealing with criminal that you know of?
Chris, I was fortunate. So when I stepped into the criminal defense side, my assistant had basically raised me. She had started with our firm in 1981. No, 9 actually. I was born in 1978. She had all of my report cards. She had all of my childhood drawings. I'm coming, and we're working together. I was never her boss. I told her that, but she was incredible. She had an extreme attention to detail. She worked with a sense of urgency. She never made mistakes. She still typed on a typewriter, so she would read things through. And I was, she was literally the best legal assistant in Gainesville, and I was told that by the state attorney himself and multiple judges and their JAs. In 9 years we worked together, I think we got in one disagreement. So I was just very fortunate to work that was like-minded, that I trusted, and she trusted me because she knew me and I knew her.
Mm-hmm. So having your own firm, what would you say the biggest challenge is?
I think the biggest challenge is always making sure that you put on your face, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, what I've learned is that even the most accomplished law firm owners don't know what they're doing all the time. Mm-hmm. Is to put your face on, keep your eyes facing forward, smile, act confident, act as if you know what the answer is going to be. Yeah. Generally speaking, it'll work out as long as you don't, lose your cool and make spur of the moment decisions that can affect other people's lives. So I think running the firm, what I'm learning is the more consistent, the more calm, the more prepared you can be, the better it is, not only for your clients, but also for your team members.
How about the calm pot? How are you with the calm pot? How do you do with being calm?
Me? All right. The Boston accent always throws me off. So
I know.
Very competitive person. My father's the Zen master, right? He's like, he doesn't even need to meditate because he's always meditating. I'm a very type A, sense of urgency, get it done now, otherwise I'll never get done. So move, a rolling stone gathers no moss. So I've energy. For me, I think it's about having perspective and learning from my mistakes where I have not been calm. Because speaking, I don't know if yelling at someone in this day and age is the best way to lead. In fact, most of the leadership courses that I've taken say that there's more effective ways, alternative ways that are going to not only make you feel better about yourself, it'll keep your blood pressure low. It's also going to be more effective in getting others to figure out how they want to behave, because we force people to do what we want them to do. They have to want to do it. You have to make sure that you spark a genuine interest in others. And that's a skill that I'm still learning. It's not easy, but it's one that I think if I'm calm, if I don't yell or blow up at an employee, I think I have a better chance of getting to understand what their perspective is, because they're more willing to open up to me if they feel like it's a safe environment.
Right. And then you're teaching them how to actually behave also, team member to team member, and with clients, they're watching you. It's just like kids watching their dad or their mom. Yeah. It's the same. I'm sorry, but it's the same. It's the same thing. It really is.
It really is hard because you want to skip to the conclusion, right? I mean, you don't want to have to go through all the steps. You want, Chris, when you teach all of our employees, our team members, you go through the entire phone call, you go through the script, you repeat the same things that you've repeated since day one. And I know it's probably frustrating for you because you get right down to the end and say, this is how you do it. And if you do this, you're going to be great. But as I do, that's not the way learning.
Over and over and over and over again. So what about rewards? What would be the biggest reward you've had with running the firm?
Probably, honestly, the running the firm is I hate saying that because it intimidates me, because I really don't run anything. What I do is I show up for work, and I'm lucky enough that everybody else is showing up for work. And
right.
Even in our firm, without the people believing in us, we have nothing. We don't, we're not in control of anyone else's lives. Every team member wakes up in the morning and chooses to come into our office and be a part of our team. And that's a sobering thought, right? That to spend their lifetime, their own life, serving our clients and spending time with us. So I don't think, that I don't view it as me owning anything. What I think is most, I don't know if I remember the question. I think it was what's most rewarding, probably the clients. When I've gone to trial, I've won trials. Heck, I'll tell you honestly, when I've lost a trial, I've lost trials. Obviously, when I've lost a trial, I have clients sometimes more happy that I represented them than when I won them, because they just wanted someone to fight for them, and they were excited to have someone sitting by there. And so that to me makes me feel like I'm providing a really special service that not everyone could provide. That there are other warriors out there that are willing to fight, but there's not enough. And that's where I find a lot of pleasure.
Warriors, that's a great word. That's a great word. Let me ask you this. Why is it that some attorneys don't even want to go into the courtroom?
What's the statistic? Only 5% of the lawyers try jury trials.
Yeah.
It's frightening. It's frightening. I still have my knees shake. I've picked over 50 jury trials, and I've tried 30 something cases to conclusion. And time I was scared to death, and I would lose weight. I'd probably lose 5 or 6 pounds during trial because I wouldn't eat. I would just worry about anticipating what the other lawyer was going to would argue to make, and making sure that my clients and myself were prepared. I think it's a stressful process. I think it's people are placing their faith in you. I think you are in the limelight. It's almost like being on a Broadway stage, and that people can jeer you and judge you and do all the things that people are. So it's not a normal not a normal place for anyone to be. And lawyers are certainly not actors. I mean, most of them aren't. Some of them are, but I know I'm not. So I wasn't prepared. In law school, they don't teach you.
Yeah, they don't teach you.
They teach you how to read law and how to make art and think logically. But the other stuff is your choice on how you want to do it. And I think is probably the last occupation in the world, at least in the United States, where people are forced to have to listen to you. So I can talk, and the jurors have to sit there and listen to me for whatever period of time the trial is. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got people that are listening.
They're actually listening to me.
Yes. I don't know if they're putting me out half the time, but seriously, it's for me, litigation is probably the most fulfilling part of actual practice of law.
Okay. Well, the last question is, what does the future look like for Meldon Law?
That's a great question. And my thought is, I don't know, but it's going to be bright. And we've got goals in place that we want to reach, but I never want to limit ourselves. And I always want to shoot for the stars. So in my mind, I want to continue to support our team. I want to do whatever it takes to be able to best represent our clients. And I don't know, that always is changing every day. We have to see what we're doing, what we can do better, what we can, maybe, stop doing. There's always something to learn. And so the future, obviously I can't predict the future other than that. I will state that a non-negotiable core value is that the clients always will be put first. And come second.
Excellent. I do have one other question. I know that folks are going to want to know is, what groups do you belong to? Leadership groups, management groups, to help you grow?
So groups. I was a member of the Traffic Court Rules Committee, which governed the entire state of Florida. I was president of our local bar association. Most recently, I used to lecture alcohol awareness at all the Greek institutions at the University of Florida, the fraternities and sororities, as well as other service institutions. I was doing a lot of charitable work with the Pledge 5 Foundation. I was on their board for a short time, which gives back to the community in Gainesville. Most recently, I was enrolled in the Dale Carnegie Leadership class in 21, and then right after that, I was a teaching assistant and I help teach one of those courses, which is a pretty intense course. It's an 8-week course with 3.5 hours in-person training every Tuesday night. And I'm very proud to say that 12 of our employees have enrolled in that course over the past 2 years.
Wow.
And leadership principles are outstanding. They translate to whatever anybody wants to do. And there's two funny facts about the Dale Carnegie class. Number one is every president has attended in the 20th century, I think, or since it started, other than one. And I'll try to guess who that president is. Has not attended.
Oh, I'll let you tell us. I'm going to play it safe. I don't want.
Nixon was the only president that didn't attend, according to the class instructor. And number two is that Warren Buffett only has one diploma hanging on his wall, and that's the Dale Carnegie course. Wow. That was actually documented in the 60 Minutes episode, so you can see it for yourself. So it's one course that I always recommend everyone take, no matter what position you are, because the core values and the lessons that you learn are applicable in everyday life, both professionally and personally.
Fantastic. Well, wonderful. Any last words for everybody?
No, I just want to say, Chris, thank you so much for what you've done with our team. Everyone views you as kind of the oracle when it comes to client communications, client relationships. I hope that you feel like our team has taken it seriously and has learned, because they do bring it up quite a bit. It's something that we as lawyers think we're always good at, is intake. But the truth is we're not. We're not very good at all. And I've listened to my own calls, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, right.
The fact that our team members are willing to buy into it and not revolt against you and being judged by their peers is a testament to you and your ability to communicate with them critically, without judgment, without losing your cool, but still being able to put them in what most people would consider difficult situations.
Yeah, well, thank you. You have a great team. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for today. And so long, everyone. It's Chris Mullins, Lawyers Tell All. Bye, Carey. So long.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Lawyers Tell All, where Chris Mullins takes you on a journey with lawyers in the trenches who show you the realities of what it takes to succeed in this chaotic, crowded, ever-changing profession. Remember to visit our website at www.lawyerstellall.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on Lawyers Tell All.